Let's go.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to maybe our last episode for a minute.
A long minute.
A long minute of sit crooked, get comfy, curl up, grab a coffee and a cozy blanket, and talk straight. No bullshit. No pulling punches. We're talking about some hard. I say hard. We'll see what it comes out to.
We're talking about some stuff.
We're talking about some stuff.
We're talking about some stuff.
I am Katie Myers.
I'm Leanne Jameson.
And so Leanne and I have been gearing up for like our 3-year birthday.
I know, we've been making all sorts of plans.
We've been, I mean, Pilar, I'm so sorry that you've been working on things. I mean, Leanne, I'm so sorry that like you've been putting a lot of time and energy into like creating this, and part of this episode is an interesting turn of events that some are like out of our control, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our VA extraordinaire, Sarah Wilke, is moving on up.
I know. I want to take a moment to celebrate her. Like, I'm so excited for you, Sarah. So she's been with us since we have started, and we've all been through transitions and shifts and changes and up levels and breakdowns and breakthroughs and all the things. And I'm just loving seeing her live in her passion and her purpose. And she is really, she has a mission, and she's following it, and it's big and beautiful.
It's really inspiring.
It is.
I mean, Sarah, you just have an inspiring story in general. And if I can just share so briefly, the way that we learned about Sarah. Okay, so see if we can follow this. I'm from Anderson, Indiana. What? Shout out Hoosiers. Not really. I'm not that super proud of it. But I'm from Anderson, Indiana. I went to Frankton middle school and high school for a minute, and then I went to Anderson High School. Anyway, friend, like, and we weren't even like close, but like we knew each other and we knew of each other. Bethany Quinn. I don't even know what her maiden name was. Bethany is a boudoir photographer, and she might even be expanding into more than that. So I apologize if I've just like pigeonholed or like put you in a box, Bethany. But Bethany and I are Facebook friends after all these years, and she does boudoir. She's still in the Indianapolis area. I hooked up with her, and that must have been like 3.5 years ago, where, gosh, that's wild. So I did my only boudoir. I want to do another one. Boudoir photo shoot with Bethany. Bethany and I are chatting. She's showing me like other pictures that she's taken of other women. It's so beautiful. Her work is fucking amazing. And I'm like, yeah, like my friend and I, we're gonna start like a podcast. And she was like, oh, like, okay, Bethany has a podcast. We need to find the link to that and link that. Bethany has a podcast. She's like, oh, my friend Sarah is my VA. And I was like, oh my gosh, can you connect us? So, Sarah, I don't know if your pictures are like anywhere out there or maybe on Bethany's website, but
I think they are.
Sarah's pictures are also fire. Anywho, we get connected. She's a VA. She's doing her thing. She becomes our VA for the last 3 years. And
yes,
she, again, her story is inspiring. She's done a lot of like internal and external, like personal life, but also professional life stuff. She's transitioning to doing more of what she's really passionate about, and she's closing down Wilke on
Demand. And she is opening Braving Healing. Check it out. It's amazing. They have a documentary in the works. And she's an advocate for child sexual abuse. So this platform is all about that. It's all about the healing from the coming back from the living your life beyond, right? This history, right? This experience that people have had. Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh.
Trauma and how beautiful it can be, and the healing process. And the healing process ain't easy, but go check her out. But so Sarah let us know here that she is not going to be able to VA for us anymore. So we're like, all right, cool. Like, pivot. Can you recommend anybody? So we have a sound engineer. Is that what Guido is called? Sound engineer?
A sound engineer? I think so.
I don't know. Guido, shout out to Guido. I don't know what you do. You do amazing things. And this is why we need people like you, because we don't know what the fuck we're doing. And Guido's really more of a, his capabilities and capacities, I think, are more for like Leanne and I are like amateurs, right? Like we're just two chicks, like, you know, shooting the shit, and like, and it's a passion project. We don't make, y'all, I'm gonna just be frank, we don't make dick off of this. We don't.
Exactly.
I'm gonna actually add up. I'm not gonna share the number, but I'm gonna add up how much we've spent over the last 3 years. We pay for Sarah. Sarah has Guido, part of her team. We don't make a penny. We lose money every freaking day.
Every month.
And we are here for it. We love it. Like, this has been so, I'll speak for myself. This has been so cathartic and healing and powerful for me that it was worth the investment and the time. And I would give, and I have, and I do give, I won't say anything because that sounds a little dramatic, but like to have this connection with Leanne, and we don't need this podcast to have a connection, and we don't need, like, Leanne and I are thick as thieves, and there's always been a part of me that's like, I don't want to let this go because I don't want to let this go.
Aw, so we need to just have coffee together. Like once a week. Just sit down and chat.
Or I see you every week now because I'm in your certification program. But I also need, like, not business Leanne. I need, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Anyway. So we'll
Friend
figure
Leanne.
we all wear different hats. I will figure out how to get my fill of the other hats of Leanne. So Guido, okay, so back to Guido. He is more of a business that is for podcasts that make money. And so we were like, kind of, not like bubble burst, but like when we were like, all right, let's see if we could transition, it was just like a very eye-opening moment of like, all right, like, if we're gonna make this transition, we gotta, like,
step up our game. Yeah, like, this is gonna be this is gonna be the next, this has to be our next level in podcasting. And it's so interesting because it is, Katie and I, we both believe in higher powers. We both believe in, like, the universal lines and all of the signs. And I know that, I mean, like, we had this conversation a couple months ago, you know, where it's like, is this something that we want to continue to do? And at that time, we both decided, yes, we're going to continue. And it's so interesting because, like, my mind goes back and forth into just like, well, is this just like a message? Because if you've ever read The War of Art, right, it talks about, like, well, if you want it bad enough, right, like, you're gonna get it, you're gonna get shit thrown in the way, and you make the decision of what you're willing to do and how committed you are. And it doesn't, you know, to me, that's not about, like, sacrificing so many things, but it's just like, there's gonna be fucking bumps in the road, right? Like, there are. And you have to, and that's why it's so important to have, like, the passion and the purpose and the why am I doing this, and is this an effective use of my time, and, like, is this getting me right
for when it gets hard, because it's gonna get hard.
Exactly. So I go to that of just like, is this something, which is just a point for me to reference, where it's like, is it? Am I in that space where I'm like, all right, balls to the wall, like, we're fucking going. We're committed to this. We're going to go in. And Katie and I sat down this morning, and we both had, it sounds like we had that internal conversation going already for both of us. Little did we know, but, you know, we're connected. So I figured. So, and we both just sat down, and Katie came right out. She came first. Anyway.
As she should.
Oh, we don't lose our humor. Our childish humor. So she did, you know, she opened up the conversation. I'm like, no, I've felt that same way. right? Where it is just like, okay, I'm not at the point where I'm ready to put in any more effort. I'm not going to sit down and I'm not going to edit my shit because I don't know how, first of all, for 5 hours, because I know that is what it has taken a lot of the women that have started podcasts like from my programs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing it. I'm not. I have a different idea, agenda, focus for this year. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't part of it. And who knows? It might be part of it later on in life, but it just isn't right now. And that's how, you can speak for yourself. But that, I mean, really coming to the terms of like, okay, we take in all of this information and like, what is this telling me? And then going internally, not looking for the external validation, not looking for, any of that. It's just, what do I feel is right in this moment? And I feel like this is, one of those times where it's just, I feel like a lot of people are actually coming to this space where I was just talking to a couple women in my program yesterday who they've been working on something together, and they brought it to me and as a business idea and like, what's our next step? And, and they're looking at partnering together and stuff like that. And both of them have very big things happening in their lives. And I'm like, listen, I had the same conversation with them. I'm like, this is going to take work. It's going to take effort. It's going to take focus. You guys both have your own businesses and you're doing this. So what do you want to focus on? So, and here we are, right? I feel like a lot of transitions are happening.
I totally agree. I mean, I'm hearing it in relationships, in business ventures, in just an internal, external, like whatever. But yeah, there are lots of shifts. For me, it's so much more important and you said it, but that internal curiosity around what is this really? Mm-hmm. Is this the universe being like, all right, giddy up, let's go, like, show me what you are ready to and willing to do? Or is this an opportunity to say, you know what, I got a lot of stuff going on, and that's okay. And my internal judgment could get all kinds of out of whack and bent out of shape, and then my fear of external judgment, people listening and being like, these bitches have been doing this for 3 years and haven't made any money, like, why can't they make, why is their listening crowd not that big? Like, why is it not taken off? Like, why is there no? And so I have to like immediately shut that shit down, because it does no good. It serves no purpose.
Right. And
really turn back to, this has been such a beautiful thing for the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. And I have zero regrets. I take that back. Hold on. Do I have zero regrets? I, at times, wished that I could have given it more. Leanne and I were joking before we hit record of, my joke is, so I'm a generator. I follow the emotional wave of my human design, and I also nap a fucking lot. And I love to nap. And I was teasing Leanne, because Leanne's, as if you know Leanne, like, balls to the wall. Like, when she wants something and sees something that she wants, she goes and she fucking gets it. And it's beautiful and it's inspiring. And I have a different path. And I told her, I was like, it'd be cool if you told me that you were like, bitch, you didn't carry your weight. You didn't market, you didn't da. And I was like, yeah, because I wouldn't say the same thing to you, Leanne. Like, Leanne, if you would just taking so many naps, we would be fucking huge. Leanne doesn't take naps, y'all. I take naps. If there was dead weight in this relationship, hi, it's me. I'm the problem with it. And not like a negative way, in a jokey way. But I also have to just be very real about my bandwidth and what my capacity is. And I know that I don't have any more to give to this. And so if this requires a pivot and an up level, now ain't it. Now isn't it, or I ain't it. I don't know, and we'll see, right? You know what I mean? Like, the future is always unfolding, and
right.
But then I also was commenting about how, like, I'm in a lot of therapy. I mean, I've talked about this before.
I'm in a lot of therapy. I love how you put that.
I have a lot of emotional support in different ways. Leanne obviously is a huge one, not just as like friend and a fellow business woman, but like I'm in her certification program, and I'm really digging into the divine feminine, and I have other coaches. I'm working with Christy Wild. She is really pouring herself into me around like human design and all these different things. And so I have, and I have a new therapist that I start with tomorrow. I mean, no, today, right after
Today.
record today.
Yeah.
Anyway, lots of internal work, and I don't. I have to need to want to honor those parts of me, and historically, I don't let go of things.
Mm-hmm.
It can be so fucking time to say goodbye to something or someone. So jobs, relationships, situations, whatever, behaviors. I have joked in the past where it's like, yeah, I gotta the house has to be burning down around me for me to be like, oh, I think maybe it's time to go. I think like it might be a good time to exit. Or like the universe has to rip it from my cold dead hands of like, this is not for you, and I'm taking it from you. And this feels not similar, but it just brings up similar feelings of like, I probably wouldn't walk away from this. If Sarah hadn't made her transition and we were just kind of I probably would not. I know I wouldn't.
See, isn't it so interesting? Sorry, were you done with that?
I am done. That was my thing. Important for me to stay curious about that, and then also step back and let go.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was just thinking about, like when, yes, you like everybody has to get to a certain point of discomfort. It has to be that way, or else we're not going to change anything. We're like, what's the purpose of changing anything if you're just like, everything's fine? Like,
my pain tolerance is fucking stupid high. I can withstand a whole lot of pain. I don't love it.
Yes.
It's not my recommendation, y'all.
But I think about like when it's like when one person shifts, this is what I went to, is like when one person shifts out of where they're where they're no longer meant to be, or what's not serving them, it allows for other shifts to happen, right? And to like it just click into place. I thought about me leaving Karen and you stepping in and then you going, right? Like it's just such a beautiful path that like when people, and this is what it comes down to. It's like when women, I will speak specifically to, when we find our purpose and our passion and we, go for it, whatever that go for looks like, because going for it looks different for different people, and it's supposed to.
Yes.
But we hold that truth, and we know, like Sarah's been working on this project, her new business, her mission, her purpose in life, her movement, I will say, for the past year at least. So I want to say even longer. But when we hold that truth and we're like, yes, this is where I'm going. I know this. And we follow that, it allows other people to speak their truths too, right? It allows for the space for other people to be like, okay, what am I doing here? And to question, like, what is my purpose? What's my intention? That's what it did for me, right? And this short amount of time where, from realization of just like, oh, you have me until the end of the month to today, right? Of just like, okay, what is this? What does this mean for us? And it feels good and right. It really does. And it's so important. And I want to go back to, for those who are listening, right? Our 16 people, our 16 loyal.
I looked at our analytics and I told Leanne, I was like, bitch, some months we have like 60 to 80 people listening like on a release day. And then other weeks it's like 16. For you 16 loyal followers, we love you. We're here for you.
Exactly. But it's just like, well, and looking at that, we could take it one way. And I love that we've allowed these ego deaths to just go, of like the ego death of failure, right? Where it's like this, we could look at this as like, oh God, we suck. And, I can't believe that we held on for so long and we only, whatever, or we're ending any of that. We can let it get to us. And maybe in the past it would have. Like, I think about when we released Journey to Rejuvenation and we're just like, okay, this is no longer. And that was more. I think that was more difficult for me because I was in a different headspace. I did feel like a failure. I did feel like, oh my gosh, I let this go and I just like sold out to like the next shiny object or whatever. And I know that it was my path. It is what it is. But like, it's so interesting to see where we were in, what was that, 2017 versus now. To where we're just like, you know what, it's been real. It's been real fun. Like, it has been really cool. I love being able to do this, and it's not a failure. It's just a reference of just like, okay, well, this was something, and we hit what we wanted, and
something beautiful, right? Like, if you can take the external like achievement out of it and bring it back to like the emotional or the internal satisfaction, we, in my mind, crushed it.
I would agree.
We crushed it. And of course, there's a part of me, like the ego part of me, that's like, I wanted our show to become like massive and like go viral and like change the shape of women, blah. And that would have been really fucking cool. But I also I'm not in control of the outcome of things. I'm in control of what I choose to do at any given moment. And I'm in control of monitoring my motivation and is what I'm doing aligned with my values. And that's where it ends. The outcome or the results, how people perceive it, receive it, whatever, I don't have any control of that. And that's a really beautiful like death of the ego, to let go of the like, I don't have to manage the results. I'm not in charge of the results. I'm in charge of showing up and doing the best that I can. And I feel like you said, like I have a piece about it that this might be goodbye forever. I don't know. This might be until we find a VA that we can afford. This might be
until we decide, yeah, we're going to put our all into this, and we have the space and we have the time and whatever, right? To think about how we want to promote and all these other things. Who knows? What we do know right now is that this is a pretty amazing stopping point, parking space, right? Where, we just pause.
And in April, we won't be celebrating, oh my gosh, what are we going to be bringing for you in the next year of Sit Crooked Talk Straight? Instead, we will be saying happy birthday to us. What a good
This is our gift.
This is our gift to whatever, whomever, us. My gift to me. Our gift to us.
Yeah, the truth, like honoring our truth, honoring where we're at, honoring, and this is for everybody in this season. And anytime you come to this, point where it's like, okay, what is the direction? Where do I want my focus to go?
Amen. So yeah, I don't know. I love the death of the ego conversation on, and if talking more about that would be fun too. Well, because I mean, like, that's funny that I say it like that. Like, yeah, the death of the ego. That sounds like fun conversation.
It is fun.
It kind of is. Like, it's kind of like really liberating, and to it's letting go of all the shit that you ain't got control over anyway, bitch. Like, let go. Though that death grip on all the things that we want to have control over is actually holding me back from the beauty that it could be.
Well, it's all the limiting beliefs, right? Of like, I have to look a certain way, I have to be a certain way, I have to do this, I have to hit that number, I have to be the good girl, I have to be, like, we've had so many, and this is a big one too, is the wounded healer, FYI. So if you guys want to learn more about the death of egos as a fempreneur, specifically around female entrepreneurship, go to Medium. It's like one of my favorites. I love reading the articles there, and I also have articles there. So it is in Medium. Yeah, it's an online magazine that I just love. There's so many great articles. But yeah, there's so much that we have learned. That's one of the things, is just like that, being a constant learner and being able to learn, not just like knowledge, right? Not just like book stuff. But these are life lessons. These are like letting go of the ego is a life lesson. learning how to fail, even though I don't consider it a failure, I always consider things like, okay, well, that didn't work out the way that I intended it or planned to. What do I want to do differently? Do I want to do something differently? Like, whatever. And that's what I mean by like learning, that lifelong learning, that lesson, the life lessons that we have, the soul lessons, really, too, so that we can move through appropriately. And effectively.
And I love the sentiment around, I always have the, it's not failure if you learn something.
Right.
Failure actually doesn't exist. So I'm going to say some things that I don't even really know are, like, for philosophers out there, I don't know that if you're part of the 16 listeners, okay, I don't know that failure is a real thing anyway. Like, it's a made up construct that
probably by a man
that it really, like, it supports the patriarchy, look that shit up, that this idea of failure, like not doing something that you achieve equaling something that means that you didn't achieve something. I'm saying a lot of words, I don't know what I'm saying, but it's not about the achievement of the thing, it's about what did you learn on the way. And if you learn something on the way, then there is no such thing as failure. Like, there is that, like, it doesn't exist. It's kind of like, it makes me think of the time that Christy told me, like, laziness is not a thing. Like, laziness is a man-made construct. When we rest, when we need to rest, we rest. Laziness is a judgment. Failure is a judgment.
Judgment.
So
I love that.
That it comes full circle of, like, if you're judging something as a failure, then take a step back, and if there's a lesson, then change your judgment. If you didn't learn a lesson, the story's not over. So
right.
you can't judge a book by, like, the 50% mark of the story, right? Like, it's not over. It ain't over till it's over. And
exactly.
So we always have the capacity to learn and grow and change and develop and mature. I know I've done a lot of maturing. I used to think of myself as, like, a really mature kind of, like, wise. Like, I have, like you said, like, there's book smarts, but there's also, like, heart smarts, and then there are some days where I don't know how to fucking tie my shoes. I'm a 14-year-old boy giggling at some, right? And you know what? There's no failure there either. It's all a part of me. And not to be, and I'm not gonna make a disclaimer about it. I'm pretty great. I'm pretty great.
I would agree with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And it's important that we own those things, because I was gonna make the disclaimer of, like, I don't want to sound arrogant, but fuck that. We need to step into our truth, ladies. We need to step into our truths and own that, because what Leanne was saying earlier about, like, when we step into our truth, it gives other people the space and often permission to do the same. Marianne Williamson's poem about when we let our light shine, we inadvertently give everyone else permission to do that also. But it's the space that we take up when we move on from that space, that we open up for others to step into. But it's also the courage that people are drawn to, of, like, oh, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she did it and didn't catch fire. I want to do it.
Right. It gives us the courage. What would you say your top, we'll wrap it up here, is what are your top 3 lessons that you've learned from this? From this 3 years. 1 lesson per year.
So on the fly, I would say a lot of the boxes that I would have put myself into prior to this, coming on air and talking about my sex history and, like, even, like, saying curse words, my capacity to step into that space and truth and be vulnerable is actually quite large. And I always knew I had capacity for it. This took it to another level of, like, we can be as bold as we give ourselves permission to be. And the lesson, the continued lesson of, when you do scary or hard things, you don't die or catch fire. And those are my worst case scenarios. And so if I don't die or catch fire, then I really can do hard things. And numbers do not denote success. So I've said this before about like the litmus test for success within relationships should not be longevity. Longevity does not equal success in relationships. And I learned that in ways where I was like looking, I mean, I'm a couples therapist, and I am looking at couples sometimes that have been together for like 40 years and they're fucking miserable. But whenever I would hear somebody be like, oh, we've been married for 40 years, everyone's like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. How did you do it? And like underneath, they're probably being like, well, we did it by like probably drinking a lot and a lot of arguments and not living our fullest.
Right.
Fuck that. And so we have to take away like whatever the assigned value is that denotes success. So if longevity doesn't equal success within relationships, then numbers of like listeners do not equal success within our podcast or this our voice, because the podcast is just a medium for it. Leanne, like you've got a voice that goes across Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, your groups, your meditate. Like you have so many platforms. This podcast was one platform. That does not equal a success or not based on numbers alone. And I've always said, and I don't know that I've always necessarily like truly believed it, but I would say things like, as a social worker or a therapist, if I've helped just one person, then I have succeeded. And I think that's a little bit of a platitude and a little bit of like we tell ourselves to make ourselves feel better. I don't know. That's a judgment I just made. But my own like curiosity around that is, I have no idea if there was one listener who listened to our episode about depression and suicidality and heard my story about having to go to treatment. And that woman was a mother of 3 and she went to treatment, and now she's teaching her kids how to be like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Right. You don't know the ripple.
You
don't know the ripple effect. We don't.
And that's, I think, I don't know what number lesson I'm on, but that would probably be like the last lesson of like, I don't need to know. I don't need to know what the impact is to continue to do what I know I'm called to do. Does it help? Yeah, it helps to like have a little bit of external reinforcement and
right. It's always nice to when you get that like message of just like, I just want to thank you, you're a rock star. Like I just got a text like last week on that. I was just like, she's like, thank you, it's a shit show over here, but guess what, I am amazing. Like shit's falling around me, and so it's nice to have that, and it's not necessary to move forward.
That's exactly what I say. Like, it is so helpful and nice. And so here's like a plug for, if you have somebody in your life that's been awesome, or a teacher, a mentor, a friend, somebody who has kind of walked the walk and they have inspired you, my encouragement is like, call them, write them a message, send them a note, let them know, because the majority of us out there who are really, truly invested in and feel like it's our calling to try to make the world a better place, we're often doing it not knowing
the outcome,
if the seeds were planted and if anything's growing. And so those would be mine. What about you?
Mine, let's see, mine are that it's very similar to yours as far as just like I it's safe to be vulnerable. It's actually safer to be vulnerable than not to. It's safer to speak my truth than not to. It's because that was something that, and it's so funny because like I still sometimes get that like people are actually listening, like, you know, like my family listens sometimes, or like when, and I'm on a multitude of platforms, so it's either listening to this or listening to like my Instagram story or like whatever, right? And I'm just like sometimes, but the oh shit is like less now, right? After like 3 years of doing this and 5 years of in my business, I just feel safe. Like nobody has shunned me. Nobody's been like, Leanne, I can't believe that you did that, like whatever. So so that's something that was real. Like, I take that, and because I've always, like, books in my mind and this and that and all this stuff, but I'm like, who is that going to impact and who is that going to hurt, right? If I'm, like, being really, really truthful about my truth. And it's actually brought upon a lot of really beautiful conversations within my family and really honest conversations. So that would be the first lesson, is that, like, it's safer to be vulnerable. It's safer to be open. I die inside when I'm not, when I hold shit in, when I, it truly is. And I know that there are some people, like, you do choose who to be vulnerable with, but, like, on these platforms, if you really want to, get out there and speak your truth, just know that the people who are around you, who are meant to be with you on this journey, will stay, and you'll have opportunities to have those hard conversations with them too. And the hard conversations they're only hard because we make them hard, because we have fears of losing certain things or aspects of our life. So, I mean, that's one big lesson that I've learned. What would be another? Another is, like, the importance of this connection, of our connection every single week, and just, like, checking in and knowing that I need, because I have a lot of people around me that I know stuff about, but nobody really, like, it's so funny because I talk about being vulnerable, but at the same point, it's like, I know a lot of people. There's not a lot of, it's just, I know a lot of people, and that's just me as an Aries, an extrovert, as a 7 in the Enneagram, as a woo in the Strengths Finder, but to, like, actually sit down and just, like, have some in-depth conversation, and it doesn't have to be, like, an hour or 2 hours, like, it can be 20 minutes of just, like, real talk and, like, having that deep connection, but specifically with us. There's something really special about that. So, yeah.
Can I say one quick thing about that, just real quick?
Yeah.
Somebody challenged me once. I talked about how, like, I wrote a book, right? Being Seen. Check it out on Amazon. And I do all this podcast stuff, and I go in spurts on social media with, like, sharing stuff about my history and yada yada yada. But somebody asked me, like, what my motivation was in that, and I was like, well, so much of it is to help others. And they were like, do you ever share with someone to just benefit you? And I was like, yeah, in therapy. And they were like, no, not in an environment where you're either paying somebody or the person's a professional, but someone that you can lean on without there being, it really is like, I just need to say this, and I need someone to hold space for me, and you are one of the best fucking space holders. Like, no joke. And so that kind of dual thing of, like, being vulnerable and, like, a lot of people knowing you, but, like, people really knowing you. And do they know you because you have shared parts of yourself because you know it will help them? You do that easy peasy lemon squeezy all day long. But when you just kind of show up and tell somebody, hey, this is what's going on, and I ain't got nothing else to offer, that's a different level of, like, connection. And so, damn, I love you.
I would agree. I love you too. I love you. We are definitely going to have virtual coffees. We have to make it a thing. I'm trying to think what my last one was. I think that was just 2. My third, I feel like I had it. Honoring my flow, honoring the truth of my flow. Like you were saying, it's like, I see something and I go for it, and it's interesting because in that I'm a projector too, so I'm supposed to wait for the invitation, and, like, that's what I meant for, or else I'll burn out, because I do have fire within me. So being able to truly, like, had the conversation with you last, like, just, again, it was like, I don't even know if it was 6 months ago or whatever, of just like, is this something that we want to continue on? And that was really honoring my flow, because I was in this space of, like, what can I hold? What do I want to hold? What does this mean? How does this mean for me? Because I have a lot of, like, manifestors in my life around me, as far as, like, manifesting generators, manifestors. And they do, like, I can get into this comparison game, especially with my friend Natalie, actually, where, because we started our businesses together with our coach together. And she's a manifester. She kicks it to the fucking universe and she receives, like, each time, right? And, like, I'm like, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, Natalie's doing this and that, da, da, da. I'm like, hold on, we are so different in these spaces. So anyways, last year especially, it really was about honoring, and actually not even honoring, just understanding my flow and being able to honor it and know what success means for me. And I think that, you know, you said it too, where during that time, it's really interconnected with this, like, what is my worth? Where does my worth lie, right? It's not in what does success mean to me? Where does my worth lie, and how do I identify that for myself? So those were the bigger lessons that I've learned over the past couple years of just doing this, and that I can fucking do this, that we can do this, like that's like a bonus one of just, like, you know, when people are like, oh my gosh, I want to start a podcast and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like there are a lot of podcasts, like, popping up and stuff because we all have something to say, because I mean, quite literally, we're being oppressed from saying it. So in some areas. So yeah, I can do these things. I can start a business. I can start a podcast. I can start these things, and I choose what direction I choose. I get to choose what direction to go in. So that's pretty phenomenal. So yeah, those would be my lessons. We would love to hear yours. I guess you can we still have access to the email. And I just gave you guys my phone number last week, so so go ahead. Message me. Let me know what, and it's really cool to be able to stop and look back and just see, what did I learn? You know, what have I learned? Hello, baby cake. Oh, you giving your mom love.
I know.
So yeah, that's, we would love to know, like, sit back, especially, we're actually recording this on the spring equinox. It's this, like, balance, it's harmony, it's, you know, the start of spring, and planting seeds. What seeds are you planting to grow in the next year, 2 years, 3 years? Because it does. So let's plant those seeds and water those bitches.
Maybe that's the next episode. Plant the seeds, water those bitches. Maybe that's the next. Anyway.
Whatever we do.
Yeah.
But we just want to thank all of you for coming on this wild ride with us, this journey with us of talking about things that are taboo sometimes, and things that are really important to us. So thank you to all of our listeners. We don't know where we're going from here. We just know that it's not going to be here right now in this moment.
Okay.
And that's okay, and we're good. So we want to send you all the light and all the love, and continue to search for, to lean into, to connect with your passion, your purpose, and leave whatever legacy. Legacy is so many different things. So leave your legacy, plant those, you know, just like, again, like Katie was saying, you never know what ripple effect you have. You know, one word, one statement, one smile, right, really makes an impact. So keep impacting people, because Lord knows we need it in this world. So yeah, sending so much light and love, signing off for now. Mwah!